Good morning. My name is Andrew Yang, professor of Tsinghua University. It is my great honor to host this session today. In this session, Mr. Gates will give a speech titled Way Ahead, Innovating Together in China, and then followed by a Q&A session. Please have your questions ready. As you all know, Mr. Gates is a visionary industrial leader. He built Microsoft into a great business success of modern times. Microsoft products are used by millions of people around the world in their daily life and in their daily work. Mr. Gates not only focuses on Microsoft business, but also commits to fundamental research in computer science and long-term collaboration with academia. The success and contribution of Microsoft Research Asia in Beijing is just one of the examples. Mr. Gates is also an exemplary leader in the area of philanthropy through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Mr. Gates and his wife, Melinda, have endowed the foundation with more than $28.8 billion to support philanthropic initiatives in the areas of global health and learning, with the hope that in the 21st century, advances in these critical areas will be available for all people. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Bill Gates.
Well, Honorable President Gu, faculty and students of Tsinghua University, I'm very honored to be here receiving this degree from Tsinghua, which is one of the top universities in the world. Throughout your 96 years, you've not only produced outstanding scientists, but also industry and government leaders. When I visited here in 1997, 10 years ago, I was very impressed by the talent, the enthusiasm, and the creativity of the students that I met at Tsinghua. And that inspired me to support Microsoft in creating a research lab here in Beijing. That research lab has gone on to incredible success, led by Harry Shum and top university graduates from this school and others. It's made huge contributions to Microsoft. In fact, if you look at various conferences getting together to discuss state-of-the-art issues, the researchers from this lab are making huge contributions. Or if you look at the products, even the most recent Windows Vista or Office 2007, we have substantial innovations in those products. This is an incredible time to be a student at this university. The frontiers of science, including computer science, have never been nearer. The opportunity to improve people's lives in every way has never been stronger. We've really just scratched the surface of the digital revolution. Yes, we have about 1 billion personal computers that are connected up to the internet. And we're already starting to transform the way people think of studying information and sharing information, but there's so much more that we can do. The advances predicted by Moore's Law, the exponential improvement in not only the processor, transistors, but also what we have in storage or optic fiber bandwidth, give us an opportunity to define software that can work in a far more powerful way. For example, when we think about TV, today it's just a passive, non-interactive situation. But that's in the process of changing so that you can get any show that you want on the internet, changing so that it'll be interactive, so you can learn as you go along, changing so that the flexibility even to talk and collaborate with others will be part of that experience. If you think about product design, products that are going to be designed digitally. I spent several hours yesterday at the Agricultural Rice Institute talking with the experts there about how they're using software technology to sequence different rice varieties, and their optimism that they can come up with new varieties that will require less fertilizer, less water, and yet increase the yield. And it's advances like that really reach out and change the life not just of those of us who work in technology, but people everywhere. The advances in medicine are dependent on software that can manage the databases and understand the complex systems. And I'm very optimistic that we'll make big breakthroughs based on what software will provide. If you think about your mobile phone, it's going from just being a voice device to being something that can be a digital wallet, can show you maps. You'll be able to talk to it and ask for information, and it'll go out to the internet and find the things that you're interested in. In terms of learning, by creating what we call a student tablet that will be very inexpensive and the size of the tablet, but wirelessly connected to the internet and able to record your voice or recognize your ink handwriting, we'll be able to eliminate textbooks and yet provide learning experiences that are far more effective. In fact, being able to put all of the world's knowledge onto the internet in a very attractive form. Teachers will be able to see the world's best lectures. They'll be able to see the best material and for the first time start to share with each other. And so for anyone who wants to learn or who wants to teach, it will be a very different world. We certainly have some very tough and interesting problems that I know the students here will be making breakthroughs in. Writing software that's reliable, that's totally secure, software that can handle parallel execution, software that's very easy to use, and software that solves some of the tough problems. For example, problems in artificial intelligence that we've already spent many decades working on. And so this is an amazing time to be working in the sciences and particularly computer science. It's also an amazing time for this country. What's going on in China and the growth of its economy with the incredible contributions, not just within the country, but to the global economy as well. Starting to be a very major contributor in all of the sciences. Advances in new medical drugs, advances in computer science. China will step up and play a very substantial role, and part of that is the investments that have been made in having world-class universities, of which Tsinghua is really the shining example. For Microsoft, we have a commitment to work with our partners here and make them successful, to make sure that there are literally hundreds of software startups that not only sell to the market here, but sell to the entire world. We also want to make sure that the digital advances are available to all the citizens. And so whether it's displaced workers or migrants or people who have disabilities, for example, blind people trying to use the computer, there's very special programs that we can put together to make sure that software really isn't just for the few, but it really is about empowering everyone. A good example of that is the 170 Hope Cyber Schools, where we provided lots of training. This commitment to think long term and this commitment to the future is something that the Chinese government and this university and Microsoft all share. And so the opportunity to work together on new curriculum, faculty exchange, these have strengthened all three of our institutions. In the last several years, over 2,000 students from 100 Asian universities have worked at our research center here. And we've awarded over 200 fellowships. So it's really become a mixing ground for the most talented people in the region. And of course, the university that's had the largest representation has been Tsinghua. Many of our researchers are teaching courses, including the course here called Hot Topics in Computing Research, that I think is a very novel type of course, and I think will be a model for many other universities as well. Today I get a chance to announce a new program between Microsoft and Tsinghua, which is the Microsoft Distinguished Visiting Professorship at Tsinghua. And under this program, our research group will support a world-renowned computer scientist every year to visit the university at Professor Yao's Institute for Theoretical Computer Science. And the first recipient of this very impressive recipient is Professor Franz Kauschuk from MIT. And so I hope you get a sense of my optimism about what software can do and the interesting breakthroughs we can all make, opportunities to use that, use it for making businesses more effective, making jobs more interesting, designing far better products than ever before, but also using it for things of importance, for the handicapped, for education, for outreach, so that any student who has an opportunity to connect up to the internet will have the same type of opportunities as the most privileged students. I know that so much of many of the top problems you're working on today, it's fantastic for me to be here. You may realize that I'm actually getting an honorary degree from Tsinghua before I get an honorary degree from Harvard. It'll be in actually just less than 2 months. I'll be at Harvard and get my first degree from the school that I spent several years at. So these are amazing times, and I think the intersection of what's going on in China, what's going on with companies like Microsoft that take this long-term approach, and the great academic tradition exemplified by the excellence of this university, I think we can all have a very high expectation, and certainly we're committed to working with all of you to realize that potential. Thank you.
新媒体新生活，新浪宽屏